Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 10 of the Computer Business Marketing Show. Today's episode is brought to you by TechSite Builder. TechSite Builder is a hosted website builder that allows you to quickly and easily get a clean and professional website up and running for your computer or tech-focused business. Save time and frustration with TechSite Builder. Learn more at techsitebuilder.com. And it's brought to you by the DC Unconvention 2017, the second annual conference for IT business owners. Learn from fellow techs and business owners, get business strategies that work in the real world, and discover new tech. Learn more at unconvention.io. All right, guys, today we have a special show because Paco LeBron is going to be taking over. I'm out, so he's in, and he's got some awesome stuff in store for you. What is he going to do? I'm not quite sure. You're going to have to stick around and find out. All that coming up right now. Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Computer Business Marketing Show. If you own or work in an IT services business, this is the place to learn how to get more clients, keep them happy, and grow your revenue. You can watch, download, and or subscribe to all show episodes at computerbusinessmarketing.com. You can catch our live stream on Facebook every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Just be sure to like the TechSite Builder Facebook page, click the following tab, and then select See First, so that the live stream will jump to the top of your feed. Again, this week we do not have a live streaming episode, but we will start again with live streams next week. And the first live stream that we'll have coming back to you is July 12th. So definitely stick around for that. In the meantime, I'm just going to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, and then we're going to jump into the episode that Paco has lined up for you. So first of all, just want to mention TechSite Builder. TechSite Builder is the place to go if you want to get a clean and professional website up and running for your computer or tech-focused business. It's very affordable. You just jump on there and we give you all the tools you need to build an awesome website for your computer business. Also, we know you guys are busy, so if you don't have time to build out the website yourself, we can do it for you, again, for a very reasonable additional fee. So really, we can take care of as much or as little as you want. We give the power to you with TechSite Builder. So check it out. Head on over to techsitebuilder.com. Our other sponsor is the DC Unconvention 2017. This is the conference for IT business owners. We're going to be having this in Washington, D.C. in September 16th and 17th. We got a lot of awesome events lined up for you. We got some great sponsors, including Malwarebytes. We've got some awesome labs for you to work through that teach you how to do things like networking, SEO, compliance, a bunch of different things that you might want to learn, including like the different tools you can use. So a lot of cool hands-on things you'll learn in the labs. We've got some group discussions that are going to be going on where you kind of get together in a mini mastermind and talk about what's working for you with things like pricing, productivity, and marketing, and figure out, what's working for you, what's working for everybody else, and then you all come together and come up with some action plans in order to grow your business. So those two things are worth the price of admission right there, but we got a lot more for you. We also include breakfast and lunch, and we have some awesome speakers lined up for you, and we have some awesome vendors there to show you their latest, the latest stuff that they got going on. So all that is happening at the Unconvention, plus you're just blocks away from all the awesome museums and monuments in Washington, D.C., so you can make a vacation out of it. Head on over to unconvention.io to learn more. All right, guys, let's see what Paco has in store for you in this episode of the Computer Business Marketing Show, and I'll be back with you guys next week. Until then, have fun. Bye.
Hey, everyone. This is Paco LeBron, your Chicago Tech, and as you can tell, we are missing a person. As everyone knows from last week, we have Matthew Rodella. He is serving a National Guard duty, so we appreciate everything that he does for his service. So I went ahead and brought the big guns out and brought none other than Lisa Hendrickson. And for those of you who do not know who she is, she will get into who she is in a little bit here. So we just wanted to go into it. This is going to be a little bit of an off format of the show. As everyone knows, we're basically going ahead and recording. As you heard on the intro, we are not streaming live this week. We're hoping to work out the kinks and see if possibly get it streaming next week. Matt will still be out next week, but I'm hoping to get that all sorted out, and hopefully we'll be streaming next week. So keep in tune. We may be able to get that going. If not, just catch us as we release the video podcast on Fridays per normal on the computerbusinessmarketing.com. But as we kind of go in there, just talk a little bit about what's going on in my world. Pretty much same thing. We're working on things. It's nothing too new. I basically have been, as everyone knows, trying to get everything stable. Gotten a couple good clients. An interesting one, they have an e-commerce business that is located in several locations. One in Chicago, one in New York, and a couple overseas, I believe 2. So if it sounds like that the developers are not too much of a worry, their main basis is here locally in Chicago. But there are about close to 20 people in this business. So it's going to be interesting because I've always put a limit on myself on only having 10 people in a particular business that I want to support. That's kind of the limit that I put on myself. So this is going to allow me to kind of scratch that, attainable growth and see if I'm going to be comfortable with that number of 20 and see if that's something that we want to keep going till I get to my limit on what I can do for support without providing help. Other than that, trying to be consistent, improving branding. As I had mentioned in the last episode, where I had a couple things going on with my phone systems and noticed that there's a lot of different voice prompts that are listening. So when you call my number, you'll hear my voice. When someone's trying to leave a voicemail, they'll hear an automated voicemail when it's during business hours because that's Regis's voicemail system. If it's called after hours, it's a voice prompt that I had purchased from Fiverr, one of those who recorded all my audio greetings, which is a little bit older. So basically, I'm re-recording all those greetings because now I have this great mic that I've been using for quite some time now. So getting all that audio and just putting it up there just to give a more personal feel for my business. And that way, we also introduce some pictures of our team as well, just to humanize the brand and the logo. So that's kind of what's going on my end. Nothing really earth-shattering. I have been attending a live, or not live, a on-demand webinar type deal called the Local Marketing Summit. It's by the Local Marketing Institute. I'll make sure to include that link in the show notes. I believe they're going to be offering an on-demand access to it after it's been launched. It's actually going on live now. And it also was day 1 yesterday, and today was the last day. So, and all it talks about is specifically local marketing. So, has been really good information, and just thought that I give that out for anyone who's trying to just really focus on local marketing on their end. So, as we kind of move forward, we always talk about what is going on with the Computer Business Marketing Facebook group and some of the cool things that we like to highlight. And one of those topics that we highlighted, which our good friend Matt Rodella had put out, is, does your business website have a blog? And, if so, how often do you post? What do you write about? So forth and so on. And we got a lot of great feedback. And it seems that the big general term or the general consensus is either A, they're creating blogs for tips and tricks for their end customer in mind, or they just don't blog at all because they just don't like blogging, or they just don't want to deal with it, or it's something cumbersome that they just don't have time for. And that's kind of why we wanted to have this episode, which is, as I mentioned before, I had brought on Lisa Hendrickson from Call That Girl. And she has been really active in the blogging space and really getting into, as far as in the tech area, making blogging work for her business. And I could tell you that personally, when you search, I forgot the term, I think it was like virus removal, if I'm not mistaken, Lisa. I think you had written a blog back in like 2014, and you're literally still on first page preface. So without going any further, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Lisa again for the 3 people that don't know who Lisa is, because she's very popular and very active in our communities. Lisa, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're kind of doing these days?
Oh, man, what am I not doing these days, Paco? Well, this year, in August 2017, is my 10th year of business. I'll be,
Congratulations.
So I can say I'm in my 11th year then. Through all the years, I've done a lot of different things, and blogging was something I did in 2008 because it was fresh. People were just talking about it. So blogging has a big part of my business and a big footprint for sure. I've learned through all the years, though, that the blogging is helpful for some things and other things it's not, So maybe today we'll try to cover the things that, from what I learned, that people don't need to waste their time doing, because I see a lot of it out there, a lot of time wasting. But in other words, things I'm doing is I market my business as an Outlook expert. So if you go to Google and type Outlook expert, I'm on page 1 in the world. And that came from years of blogging. So if you want to become international, on Google ranks, you have to spend a lot of time with a lot of blogging, because the ads don't work for that and stuff. That's right. All organic.
And this is not something, and as everyone knows, she's synonymous for Office 365, hosted Exchange, really helping in that realm. But that's not really where you started, was it, Lisa? And this is just, you kind of molded into this niche over time. Why don't you kind of talk about a little bit as how you kind of grown through that process? I know a lot of our listeners are aware of your story, but just for those that haven't, if this is the first time they're listening to you or first time seeing you, just so they can get a little bit to know about kind of how you've went through your journey too of the 10 years that so far you've had your business open.
Well, what's funny is I was looking through my memories of my first year and all the marketing I did. I put Outlook assistants on all my marketing.
Okay.
Because when I was out searching other competitors, I was Googling every day. I didn't have any clients. I noticed none of them did Outlook, and I had 7 years experience with it. So that was one of my things that when I started getting into LinkedIn, it was a hook for me. They're like, oh, Outlook? And nobody knew it. So even back when I was doing home service and going to people's houses, I was doing a lot of Outlook work. So in the first 3 years of the business, it was just me. And I went to people's homes, and I started having an office. And then 2010 to 13 is when I did the stores. And I had 3 of them. So the funny thing is I had all the techs doing the hardware and the other work, and I was always on the phone remoting doing Outlook work. So a lot of people didn't understand that. So in 2013, when I was like, I'm done with all the stores. And the reason why is I'd be on a call billing somebody at $129 an hour for a remote job, and someone would walk in the store and want to talk for a half hour about a $40 power supply replacement. And I was like, okay, we're done with the store. I was losing money. So I actually kept the store for a while and shut the doors and just didn't act like I was open.
Okay.
Like an office. Okay. So then 13, I went remote only. And, if you're going to go remote only, you have to stop the calls for the hardware work. I had to find referral people. And then I did some remote services because I had a big clientele that wanted the computer repair services done. But it was in, I think, 2014 that I said, I'm done. I'm closing the doors on all that. I took off all the marketing on my website. I took off all the blogs, all the computer repair Minneapolis page 1 rankings, took it all off because I just didn't want to deal with it. And that was part of what I would say I niched out.
Okay.
And then just to let the folks who are listening know is that Matthew Riddell and I also worked on a business course called the Computer Business Breakthrough that has a lot to do with my story and Matthew's. We both started doing computer repair. We both niched out. And we can talk about that later. But, so I went from home service to the stores to just remote to just Outlook. And the reason why the Outlook took off was because I was blogging about Outlook in 2011 and 12. And the blog started getting hits. And I remember people calling me and I'm like, how are you finding my stuff? And they're like, on the internet. So my blogs, what I was doing was writing so much content that it was coming up high when people were searching. And then a light bulb went off and I was like, okay, maybe I need to start writing more blogs and more blogs. And then I started being a blogger. But see, there's a difference between being a blogger and being a tech blogger, I guess.
Okay.
So, because when people think blogger, they're thinking like fashion people and stuff like that. But I'm a tech blogger, and it's a whole different life.
Gotcha. And a side note, so for those that don't know, as Lisa had mentioned, there's a lot of products that she has offered. And one of the first products that I ever picked up was her ebook on how to get into remote support. And it wasn't until I picked up this book that I actually went into remote support. And I tell this story a lot, and Lisa still is thrilled by this day that she just can't believe it, that before I picked up this book, I did no type of remote support because it was one of those where I never knew how the pay structure was going to work. I didn't know how was the proper way of doing the cadence or the order that I should be doing these type of things. And then my biggest worry was, I do all this work over the internet. I never met this person. And then, okay, it's time to pay, and they hang up the phone. Yeah. So, and Lisa really goes through a lot of that. And she has many other books as well. But that was one of the first books I ever picked up. And because of that is how I got into remote support and kind of, expanded my skill set from there. So just a little side note that if it wasn't for Lisa, I definitely wouldn't be into remote support and not understanding it. And if I ever did, it probably would be a lot more delayed than when I got into back in when I was starting to get involved with the Podnuts network. But like,
was fun, by the way. It was a good time. It's kind of had its days because everybody can do it now and they figured out stuff. But back in the day, it was so exciting of a time when I wrote that book. I wrote 3 editions because and the 3rd edition was a complete new book.
Okay, I see. I think I bought if I remember correctly, I either bought the 2nd edition or I bought the 3rd edition. I'm pretty sure it was the 3rd edition because then I think after that point, you just started appending it with blogs to the site, just letting everyone know that, hey, the updates are going to be on this special site that if you purchase the book, there's going to be a members area for you on any updates that come for that book. Yeah,
and I actually, if you buy the 3rd book, I give you version 2 also. So it's like 2 books in one, and it's literally over 150 pages of just mind-boggling remote info. But I have 6 ebooks I've done. And, I'm kind of done with the ebook phase now. I moved on to video training and stuff like that, a little more quick bites things.
Yeah.
So,
as we discussed too, video now is just, it's everywhere now. Everything is now video courses, video marketing, video ads, just video self-help. Everything is now video is such a big piece now. So why don't we do, we kind of teased enough about blogging and the differences of tech blogging. And I know that you got some good information and stuff for us as well. And for those, and this is the reason why you should be tuning in / going to computerbusinessmarketing.com is Lisa will be sharing some good information on her screen. So for those that'll be listening on the audio podcast, please definitely check out the website so you can get some of the context as we start sharing some of these screens and start talking through some of that information. But Lisa, I'm going to go ahead and just leave it to you. And as I'll kind of go in as we start really asking, Sure. I guess the first question would really be is, do we really need to blog on our websites?
Well, here's what I tell people is if you're not blogging now, you probably will never blog. Okay. And if you think, well, I need to go hire a company to blog for me, then you're wasting that time and money. Go find other things that are going to work better for you, like Google Ads or whatever. Mm-hmm. Because blogging is kind of a craft, and the best bloggers are ones who write their own content. All right. Okay. So if you go hire a company to blog for you, sure, they're repurposing other blogs. Okay. They're not writing one for you. They're taking it, managing the words, putting it out there. And really, a blog is not going to do you any good if your website's not getting traffic. Okay. So if you go put out something about a crypto virus for your clients to read on their on your blog, what you're doing is just putting out information, which is fine. But honestly, to me, if you're not blogging and you're hiring a blogging company, you're wasting a call to action.
Okay. Right? Now, is it because of the specific and the more detailed in nature of it, or is it more just the fact that that person is just going to be outside of the realm and you can tell them what they want to write? It sounds good. You put it up and then there's really no traction because it's not really directly to the customer.
No, the customers read it as blah, 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 too technical writing. Okay. And the thing is even me, I am a technician and I read this going, yeah, done. Our attention spans are literally 15 seconds or less. Last year, it used to be a minute. I honestly am seeing I read stuff, I'm on to the next thing if I'm not interested. We all have ADHD, the social media frenzy, and reading what's interesting. So to me, I'm telling people, if you have a blog link up and you're hiring a blogging company, and if you've never had a client say to you, I read your blog and that's why I want to hire you, you're wasting a call to action. Because on your website, I learned this from Bryce Whitty at Technibble, is the top of your navigation bar is your top money. So if you have something that distracts somebody away from that, like a blog, and let's say someone goes to go Google what crypto virus is, you're lost them.
Yeah.
Because they're on to the next thing of Googling that, and then they're on to another lead. And they might come back if they specifically wanted to hire you. But the point of blogging for me and what I do is to get them to call me.
Okay.
I do international blogging for my business, though, so it's different. But let's say you're a tech support guy in Chicago. You got lots of competition. So why would you want to send someone off to a blog when you can be like, hey, there's a virus out there right now that's killing computers. Call me to get protected. That's better than telling them all this. I mean, you should see the one I saw today. It was just so full of tech words. I was like, I don't even understand it. Clients don't want to hear about cybersecurity issues. Gotcha. I'm sorry. They're either going to be protected or they're not.
Right. And that's true, too.
They're not going to go, oh, my God, I read a blog today. I need to get protection. No, they don't think like that. So that's just one thing I try to focus on. If you've noticed on my website, if you're listening, go to callthatgirl.biz, you don't see a blog link. Because all my blogs are hidden under the hood. Okay? The reason why is because that's all my secret marketing. So I'll tell you guys what I do for blogging. And if anybody is super interested in what I do, Matthew and I go through it in the computer breakthrough class.
Okay.
This is a breakthrough class in detail, but this is kind of like a quick detail one, all right? So why techs don't blog? They're not content writers. A lot of them don't understand the value, which we just covered. Right. The value, what I find is that the people read it, and I'll talk about it here in the next section, but I tell a story. I'm the writer. I call people folks. I talk about my clients. I share personal experiences, so that makes people feel emotional with me.
Okay.
They want to call me. See? So there's a difference. I always talk to a person when I write a blog, not to the audience.
Okay.
Make it feel very personal, okay?
Gotcha.
Let's see. So I'm trying to get on my list here. We did cover a lot of this stuff already. So there's 4 types of blogging that I've done for years. And I think when I was telling you earlier that when I started blogging about Outlook, I started finding, oh, I have a niche here. I just didn't know it was out there. And when you start to get excited, when you find something working, you want to keep doing it. But it took me a long time to figure it out. It wasn't like overnight. So what started me off first was I was really competitive with the word computer repair Minneapolis.
Okay.
Everybody in Minneapolis wanted to be on page 1. I spent 6 months, Paco, at night while I was writing all these books, grueling over spreadsheets of competition keywords, and I was tweaking my blog every night.
Wow.
It was like this underground, like.
So when you say tweaking your blogs, are you referring to the new content, new blogs you were writing, or the previous blogs that you had on your site? You were tweaking the keywords in there.
What I found was there's certain areas of your blog that Google picked up as the H1, which is the first paragraph, which if you don't make it an H1, it just is a regular paragraph. So that's one of the things. I'll talk about that here a little bit more too, but the other thing was I found tags, I found pages, I found services. I mean, I had spreadsheets that had workbooks you wouldn't believe. I had every single detail, data recovery, all the services. I knocked it all down. And I finally hit page 1 for computer repair Minneapolis, and it was the joyous moment of my life.
Nice.
I did that before the Outlook work. So
okay.
Then I was like, well, Outlook should be easy, right? So here's the 4 things I do. First thing I do is if I have a certain story I want to tell, I'll blog about it. Okay. But no one's going to go search that blog title. So that's a social media sharing blog. And then you go to Facebook and say, hey, I read this blog about this client who lost all their data and they cried, and I cried with them, you know. So that's a story. And that's really an emotional piece of a blog that people like, and they will read it. Okay?
Right.
So
and it shows that you're human as well.
Exactly. And I don't write as many of those, but I do add them to my other blogs. So I'll tell you here in a minute. So my other favorite one is error blogs. So when I go to Outlook and I fix an exact error, I get a screenshot of an error, I'll go and Google, see how many people have done it, and then I go and whip out an SEO blog, an error. I get everything in the spots because I know how to do it. I write up how I fixed it, and then I go post it, and I'm on page 1. Because I have all the Outlook keywords already, so you wouldn't be on page 1 probably, but I've got thousands of words with Outlook, so Google loves my site for that. And notice my domain is callthatgirl.biz. No matchup with Microsoft Outlook, okay, or Office 365. So, but once you have enough keywords, like let's say you blog a lot about data recovery, it'll eventually catch up. Exact error blogs are really awesome because not a lot of people know how to do it. So that's a trick, okay? Put an exact error and you tell people how to fix it. Then at the end, you put a call to action. If this fix did not work for you, please call me because I can't control what your Windows is doing. So I can probably repair it though. There you go. So it's
And you got your call. Yeah.
call to action at the end. And I'm going to show you guys some examples of how I do that all the time. Okay, the next one is bait click or clickbait, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, nobody likes to hear about how amazing someone looks or you're shocked at their age differences. But what I do is I call them this, and I don't know what the exact word is, but like 5 tips for using Microsoft Outlook. 10 mistakes you could avoid with Microsoft Outlook. You know, the number thing?
Yeah.
We love those because we're like, oh, here's 5 tips I can learn about something, you know? So maybe a technician could write 5 ways to interview your new computer tech to make sure you got to have a good title that's going to be catchy. And I don't call it clickbait or big click, whatever, but I just didn't know what to name it.
Right. Just essentially headlines to create. Now, have you noticed that there's a particular, so like you said, like I've noticed that as well, where whenever I mention a particular number on, 3 steps or, actions to take or whatever it is, have you noticed a particular number being like the sweet spot? Or
I'll show you on my biggest one I ever had.
Sure.
It was, I think it was 5.
Okay.
So to me, it was kind of like just enough to get people to bite.
Gotcha.
Excuse me. Then my favorite blog is the SEO blogs.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to tell you that I am now starting to offer SEO services.
Oh, okay.
I have decided to branch out the business, and eventually it might branch off to its own company, but I am in love with it so much that I'm going to offer it as a service.
Okay.
I've done test clients. I've gotten paid by some. I just picked up a big rug company, national, that's going to hire me to do only a certain blog. Okay. It's called the SEO blog.
Okay.
And anybody, if you go to Computer Repair Chicago, Illinois, if you're not on page 1, it's going to take you a long time to get on page 1.
Right.
And it would take me a long time to get you on page 1 because Chicago is a huge town.
Right.
But I mean, with the right amount of blogging, you could do it, but do you have the capacity to handle that kind of traffic? I mean,
yeah, right, and that's a big thing where a lot of people, and especially with our community, and I learned that once I joined our community, and the communities I mentioned is the Pod Nuts, the Mike Smith show, the Office 365 show, or no, you changed the name recently of your show, correct?
It's Office 360. Call that Girls Office 365 show again.
Okay.
I
and all these community, the Podnuts communities, and that's what I'm referencing to as communities. And once I got involved, because I was one of those techs that used to think, oh, this competition, I can't give my competitors all the secret sauce. And you hit it right in the head. And this is what woke me up and opened my eyes was, even if you had all the business in your particular town, can you handle all that business coming in from that town? And exactly that. I mean, Chicago, let alone the zip code that's next to me, is 30,000 people. I couldn't handle that whole zip code if they all came to me. And that's just a particular area of the zip code in my in Chicago, let alone the entire town. So there's enough work for everyone. And exactly like you said.
So here's what I would say if you were a new client to me that wanted SEO services. I'd say, let's pick your suburb or your community, which in Minneapolis, there was hundreds of little communities called Linden Hills or Kenwood. You can conquer a community because people love supporting local. Yep. And when they're on their phones, they're going to look up Computer Repair Kenwood because they want someone down the street. So that's where I can help people get those SEO keywords. I'm only going to be helping one person per community because I have a large span of technical friends. So I'm not going to be like, I'll do 2 in your area. I'm only going to do 1. My pricing is going to be pretty fair, but the first set of blogs we do is going to be a lot of me doing all the research and all the work. So you like the first set. Then I'll have a more affordable, smaller set of blogs you can buy. Right now I have about 70 keywords I've built up. I literally could have hundreds, but I'm only going to work on like 70 of the top most expensive repairs. Because computer repair, I'm never going to do for someone unless you are in the dinkiest town. Because it ain't worth my time or your time to get that. So I'm like, I tell people, pick data recovery, pick, printer repairs, things like that people are going to Google specifically. Mm-hmm. But the SEO, I found this out with the Outlook stuff, even though I knew it from the Computer Repair Minneapolis. It was so important to me that it took me almost a year to get Outlook Consultant. Oh, okay. Wow. Number 1. it took a long time for Google to finally say, we love you and we're going to bring you Office 365 expert. I'm on page 1, but I don't rank number 1, but I'm on page 1. And you know how come that took so long?
Why is that?
Because I used the word Office 365 in a lot of my blogs.
Got it.
That eventually I was ranked with some company number 16 of Office 365 blogs in the world.
Oh, very
that's
nice.
How much content I'm cranking out.
Very
but actually, It didn't make sense because they found it on my YouTube. So I was like, I don't know the correlation. Well, I was with the great competition of mine, so I was like, I'm thrilled to be in the list. But the thing is that I'm a serious, like, all my Outlook stuff, the Office, email recovery, OST fixes, all the stuff I do, I've ranked high for. So I'm lucky that what I do for work, I'm good at the marketing.
Gotcha. So how much time do you normally like set aside, or is there a particular day that you put aside just to sit down, think about it? Because there's probably a lot of techs that are interested in doing it and just haven't had, or quote unquote, not the time to do it versus, you know, having to go ahead and hire another company because they don't want to do it. For those that are really wanting or just starting out who want to get into it, do you dedicate a particular hour, time, etc., or is it something that whenever you have some downtime from your busy day, you kind of just pick a couple things here and there, not jot it down, and then when you have the time, you kind of just crank it out?
Well, when I'm troubleshooting an issue, and if I can't, if I don't know the error, I go and take a screenshot of it right away.
Okay.
And I'm like everybody. I go to Google and type in the error if I don't know it, because there's a lot of weird errors.
Right.
When I find the fix, I will put it in my to-do list to go and blog about it. Now, remember, I'm dealing with these crazy Outlook issues, and sometimes I have to find the fix through 4 different blogs of other people's. I always backlink credit the person if it's an exact answer.
Okay.
Because sometimes they don't know how to SEO title that correctly. So I can do them a little favor. I'll go do it with the error, and then I say, I found the answer on this page.
Okay.
So if anybody says I stole their stuff, no. If you give credit, you're not stealing. So plus I write my own blog anyway, but I always say, look, thank you to this person, because they might have titled it something weird.
Right.
I want people to find that exact error to help them, because my SEO stuff is kind of like, you know, I try to be like a little angel out there, you know, like help people and then they remember me for later. Right. So that's part of my marketing is I get a lot of thank you emails and stuff like that. But anyway, during my day, I make a list of stuff and then I work on the blogs during my jobs.
Okay.
Now, sometimes I do a big SEO project where I will actually find something that needs a lot of like blogs, like 30 of them. And then I actually make that into a project. I put tons of hours into it, like OST recovery. That's one of my big ones because with Outlook, let me see how I rank on that one. With, I took, oh my God, 2 weeks on this project. But the thing is with the IMAP and the Outlook and all the problems that it's having, I had to really get the news out to people. And that to me was really important that I shared this. And I had to do a lot of blogging to, I didn't rank on page 1 for that. But you know, the point is I worked on some marketing affiliate links for the products I want to support. And I really put the time in. But that's what an SEO blogger does. Right. You're going to make it count, you know. So I had to work on that. And then when that project was done, I was happy because it was a project and I was like, oof, now I can go do something else. I did, I think, 4 different SEO blog projects this spring, and that's what made me want to do the SEO services. Gotcha. I was like, I just could do this all day. Yeah. Gotcha. I could literally do this all day long.
Cool. So why don't we go into a little bit of the like the details that you were mentioning on some of the examples, just a couple we can just go through so that way, just so they can get an idea of exactly one for those that are just kind of, hey, they're great, you know, but I'm the type of person that really needs to, you know, see what she's talking about because it all sounds grand and dandy, but I know once I touch that keyboard, it's going to be lost upon me. So I'll let you kind of just something, some of the simple ones, just the simple things that you see that make a big impact and kind of go from there.
Well, here's something on LinkedIn that they let you do is push a blog article. It's called their publishing thing. So I started doing it, looks like 3 years ago. Now, this little blog here, how to check Gmail mailbox, it only got 300 and some hits. You know, and then I did another one, Windows 10 update. I did it, that was whenever Windows 10 was pushing it to everybody.
Ah, gotcha, yeah.
So then that got 500, but this guy over here got 58,000 views.
Ooh.
Now, this is my mother lode. So it was 5 common issues Gmail has with Microsoft Outlook, okay?
And now this is on LinkedIn that you posted this blog on? Okay.
Yeah, I've updated this sucker like a lot of times.
Okay.
So even though I don't have a lot of this and that, this marketing is the awesome. Here's the original blog, okay?
Okay.
We're going to open that over here so I can show it to you. I put an update out just last month. I tell people a story of updates that have happened. So then they get over here. Here's another link. Here I got some videos. Here I got some Office. Then I don't even get to the real one till down here. Okay? Which obviously I get a ton of calls from this. So this was awesome marketing. So I put down the tips, email overload, synchronizing, a video, hidden filters, all the little things that people want, they're getting it all. Okay? Then when they come over to this blog, over here, this is the real blog. I actually renamed it 6 issues, but it's still called 5. Okay. Then this is kind of a similar, story. Now, because these 2 hit so well, I think if you go to Google and type in Gmail Outlook problems, just type that in. My blog is right here at the top from LinkedIn.
Hey.
See that?
Okay.
I even beat Diane, who Slipstick is like number, she's got, I know Diane from Slipstick here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she doesn't compete with me and we don't compete, but this blog here is number 1. And that's just those 3 words. So that's SEO working its magic. Okay.
Okay.
You don't have to have a big campaign to do that stuff. Now, the second thing is, so when you go into your analytics here, okay, this is my website analytics.
Okay.
I just did the last month because I'm going to tell you a 2-part of this story. So I just did May. So look over here. Things are tootling along good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what happened over here? 654 hits, 809. See here? I mean, that's a huge dive. And over the weekend, it's always low. Well, this blog over here, I happen to know was going to hit big. I put this blog right here up, a week and a half ago?
Okay. And
it already has 2,300 hits in a week and a half. Wow. It's a Windows update error that I fixed. See, something went wrong. So now we're going to take that title and I'm going to show you in Google. I always log in without, being logged into Gmail. And now I'm ranked right here for that exact error. See that?
Yep.
So now that takes people to, I'm sorry, I got my 2 windows here rolling. So that circles to over here and people see this and then this is updated, right?
Right.
This is an SEO error blog. It's different than this one here, the 5 common issues. This is one where actually I'm helpful to people. And I do get calls from it, but because this error is so horrible, I can't take calls for it. It's a Microsoft update issue. But the point is that this is helpful. 2,300 people have read that. And they've been to my site now. And this took me literally probably a half hour to write all that content.
Okay.
So
now,
good luck, Googlers. Here's my call to action at the bottom. See?
Okay.
Every blog I have, I put this down here, schedule time with me. And this, encourages people to book an appointment. Okay. I put it on every blog. And then I put a little thing about me here. So it tells people, like, I'm a real person.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. So a couple questions on kind of what we've just ran through, Ron. And the first one is, have you noticed that putting a blog on a social media post such as LinkedIn, Facebook, or even Medium, which is a blogging site that's starting to really catch up now. Do you notice that putting it on those type of sites kind of give you more pull to come into your site? Or is it kind of just depending on how you've developed that SEO, it's kind of go where it's going to go because of the SEO you put into the blog?
You know what? Let me show you that again there with LinkedIn because
Sure.
it happens to be a level of interest thing. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to show you. I've done a lot of these publications, and see here 2 reasons why you want to check your junk mail. 112 people interested in that.
Okay.
Nobody cares about junk mail. Here's a Salesforce one. Here's pros and cons of Office 365. I mean, I've kind of put out a lot of variety. So this one here, 3,400, 2016 stuck on processing. That's an error. So people are still liking errors on LinkedIn.
Okay.
You know what? I still throw them out there for the SEO purposes and to relink to my website, because remember down here, when I put this out, I put this immediately in here. I just knew that for some reason. So to me, it gets them over to my site and it pulls them over to my other stuff.
Okay.
And then I also get some comments in here at the bottom from people, you know, which that's a lot on LinkedIn for a regular nerd blog, you know, but I reply back to folks.
Gotcha.
But let me show you in the LinkedIn itself. I don't know if I should be sharing this, but, you know, when you put a share out here, I don't get that many people that like my stuff.
Okay.
LinkedIn has changed. So I'm like, if I do it, I write an article and push the article, because I'm like, what's the point?
Right.
I mean, nobody, I don't know who all these people are that get thousands of likes on stuff. It ain't me.
Gotcha.
I'm not very popular that
way. So I noticed that you have different, so this is going to be two questions. So the first question is, I noticed that you have the regular URL that's going to go to your site, and then you have your Bitly URLs to kind of track that way. And obviously you're tracking the traffic with Google Analytics as well. Do you find it easier to use a Bitly URL to track that sort of deal, or the Google Analytics gives you a better result? And why do you kind of switch to both of them?
Yep, I use the Bitly, which I'm sharing here for certain things, so I can watch the hits.
Okay.
This was one that was from, I think, a social media, 16 hits, which to me, 16 doesn't excite me. 43 is better, but 224 is good. Okay. You know, I've got some big ones down here. You know, I got my scheduler one has thousands, you know, because that's right here. That's the scheduling.
Gotcha.
But the Bitly, here's the nice thing about Bitly is if you're going to put out a blog on social media, use a Bitly, because then you can see exactly who clicked on that link for that purpose. If you do over here, this is just a blog link and you can't track that.
Right.
I don't like the Google Analytics for that. So I do use Bitly's, especially when I'm doing like a newsletter. That's always nice too, even though the newsletter does it. But if, you know, I'll tell you over here in the blog, in your Google Analytics, if you are blogging, this is really helpful. You can see all my blogs are how-tos. See that?
Ah, okay.
So we'll just review this. Here's the bait click one. Here's a how-to, because people search how to do stuff. Hot fix, that's kind of an exact error because people need it. Here's the OST guide, that's one of my operation ones. You know, a lot of the stuff that people are searching.
And this kind of goes into my second question as well, which you probably just answered right now, is when you're creating these URLs. So I know that a lot of people tend to use WordPress as a majority of those, and they auto-generate the URL off of the title of the blog. Do you find it more successful to just mimic what the blog title is as the URL, or do you modify that URL to maybe be shorter, to maybe as a better keyword phrase that may be different than what you called the title of the blog?
Well, let me show you here what I do in a new post. Just like Matt and I go into it a little more in depth but this is basics.
Sure.
The post title here, okay, when you put that there, it creates a permalink. All right. The permalink is, to me, very important with Google. That's really important. This is not so much. I have plenty of blogs out there that take that out. Okay.
Okay.
We'll put Lisa is cool here. Okay.
Okay.
And if you want to do some little snazzy stuff, you know, the H1 is what Google loves also. Now, my H1, you have to do it on your website. You have to change the font size because by default, it's like super huge.
Right.
You want to get it down to like what's normal.
Okay.
And then down here, you can put the, you know, type away stuff. I with my website, I like doing this bold black, and here's why. Because I got a lot of older people, no offense, that, you know, they like to read stuff like this, where they can see it on their phones. It's a little bigger, you know. And I've learned that my audience are not millennials. They can't do that gray-black font. You know, they like this. They can read it. Sometimes I just do regular here, but for the most part, that is my thing.
Okay.
Then over here, this down here, this could be H whatever, doesn't matter, however you want to look. Now, people are like, well, what's up with tags? Well, tags are really only value to me with SEO blogs. So if you're trying to learn my magic, you can, but I'm going to tell you that I have a magic thing I do to make it all work, you know?
Right, to put all the pieces together.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not doing this, and that, but, you know, tags are super important. They help. A tag might help another blog that's suffering, you know? So
Okay.
I use tags as like handicaps for other blogs. When I was doing that Minneapolis computer repair, you betcha I was going back to tags, okay?
Gotcha.
But the thing is, you have to manipulate the paragraph here. I mean, back when I started that, Google was different, and people are like, well, the Penguin algorithm changed and yada, yada, yada. I'm like, I don't pay attention to algorithms. I don't really care if Google changes stuff because right now I'm just doing content stuff.
Right.
I mean, I'm not using backlinks and all this weird stuff. I don't use Yoast. I don't use anything. I just use straight up what WordPress gives you, you know?
Okay.
So a lot of people, and here's the thing, is if you're going to write just a simple blog for your community, you might, what community do you live in? Like
Portage Park is where I live.
Portage. Okay, well, you could say, you know, something like a computer virus alert for Portage Park. You know, let's just put it that way. Illinois, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, at least you're putting in some keywords that if someone's out searching virus removals or something, you might attract them with that.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
And then being able to create whatever it is as far as an actual post that's speaking to the person versus the audience or the masses in general,
right.
It's going to hit. Gotcha.
And you want to write something like, you know, when you're talking, you want to say, our clients, we support you. You know, here's typical things they call us about. Make them feel like they can react to you and that you're helping, you know, how they want. They don't like calling the 800 numbers. They don't like offshore. They don't want Geek Squad. You know, and they want to talk to a real person. Gotcha. And now everybody's happy about supporting local.
Right, so, exactly.
Or local, you know, and I'm not local. Do you know how many people turn me down, Paco?
Because you're not local?
Yeah, let me show you a prime example of, there's a Office 365, I think, Denver. This is all I have. Just those 3 words. And I'm down here somewhere. I was. Anyway, the Denver people are not about
going outside of their realm, huh?
Nope, they love their Denver. Yeah, see right here?
Okay.
Well, I have a lot of clients from Denver. So, of course, I market there. But, boy, I got hung up on the other day with a lady.
Gotcha.
She was like, I want local.
Well, Lisa, I think we got a lot of great information as far as, a lot of tons of information. We got a lot of visual information as well for those that are watching the video as well. Is there anything else that you want to kind of share before we kind of wrap up the interview portion of the show?
Sure. So we'll put some links in there for the computer business breakthrough class that me and Matthew did. There's 50 videos, 10 interviews with guests, and 40 segments, and I think 10 courses. It was really a long process for us to do, and we both really enjoyed it, and we're still marketing it. It's still great. We have a Facebook group. My SEO services, if you want to email me, I don't have the official everything ready, but I am doing it. Lisa@callthatgirl.biz. And if you need Outlook support or Office 365 help migrations, you can email me as well.
Perfect. Yep.
And that's all I have.
Okay. And I can attest to the computer breakthrough, sir. I mean, for those that look at it, you just can't look at it as a cost. It's an investment to what you're going to have to make even more money. And that's what it all comes down to at the end of the day, is being able to make the money to get that freedom that you want, whether it's you're leaving your job because you're doing this part-time, or you're trying to scale out and just trying to figure out how to go to the next phase of your business. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, last I checked, there was some payment options as well to help with that investment, if that will help get you to the next level. Lisa, I appreciate you coming out. Thank you so much for sharing that information. And we'll go into the marketing tip of the week.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And then this week, guys, for the marketing tip of the week, it's going to be a twofold. One, you want to always make sure you brand yourself. Me and Lisa were talking about this earlier today, where you should never have an opportunity that you either are not in the position to brand yourself when the opportunity arises, whether that's business cards, postcards, you're on a webinar per se, that you're speaking on a subject matter. You always have to brand yourself, because those that are interested in hearing what you have to say may not catch a lot of the contact details, or may not want to wait for that contact information. So having those type of deals to brand yourself right away is very key. And as a good friend of mine and mentor always says, time kills all deals. So that is something that you want to make sure that you really go up front. And the other piece of it too is, as you're going into a lot of these new endeavors for marketing, ensure that you beta test and make sure that you test these things out before you kind of go into it. Perfect example. We tried to go live today with this episode of the Computer Business Marketing Show. And although I thought I had everything all set up, turns out that the package that I purchased probably is not the one that can connect to doing it live. So being that it's the other account here that I just couldn't get the technical know-how to do, and just didn't get the chance to reach out to Matt on how to get that connected over on the Tech Site Builder website. So again, this is something to beta test, especially to do it before you go live with an endeavor that you're doing, and kind of go from there. So that's what we'll leave you for the marketing tip of the week. So thank you again for everyone that is tuning in, but let's keep this conversation going. Head on over to the computerbusinessmarketing.com website and let us know what you think in the comment section below in the show notes. Also, don't forget, you can always send us questions and feedback to mail@techsitebuilder.com, or you can visit computerbusinessmarketing.com. Also, for those that are listening to this, the audio version of the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, even if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to give us a shout out and leave a review. As you all are aware, we did restart the show from Computer Business Podcast to this new show of Computer Business Marketing. So we're just at the ground level, and we want to rebuild and let the community out there know that we're here, and we just love to hear your feedback. So every comment that you do leave, it also helps us to the podcast to be found by others that are out there. Finally, if you don't forget to check out our sponsors, Unconvention.io and Tech Site Builder. And thank you for checking out the Computer Business Marketing Show. This is Paco LeBron saying, here's to your success.